So I just wanted to say that I think last meeting where Kyla was bringing up the plans probably worked very well for any public that was, watching.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to begin the meeting. We have all the members here. Thank you for joining the City of Kingston Heritage Area Commission and Historic Landmark Preservation Commission for our joint monthly meeting of each respective commission. Today is Thursday, November 4th, and my name is Suzanne Cahill. I am the planning director and the organizer for our virtual meeting. Before we begin our meeting, we would like to go over a few meeting guidelines to help navigate the system as efficiently and respectfully as possible. We ask that members of the public and the press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. As the organizer, I reserve the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Commission members and city staff will control their own mute button. Good practice would be to mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a commissioner or staff wishes to speak, they will raise their hand. As the organizer, I will call on them, or the chairperson will call on them before they speak by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners and transcript recording. All of our meetings are recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city website at a later date. Also note that this meeting is being live streamed on the city's YouTube channel. In lieu of public speaking during the monthly meeting, we requested all comment to be received by 2 p.m. on Monday, November 1st, 2021. Comments were to have been emailed to skhill@kingston-ny.gov, hand-delivered, placed in the regular mail, or in the Dropbox at City Hall. No written comments have been received. All meeting material, applications, supporting documentation may be found on the city website by going to www.kingston-ny.gov. And on the homepage, scroll down to the bottom under meeting where you see the joint meeting posted. Click on an appropriate link for the meeting agenda and/or materials. If at any time you have an audio issue, please send a text message to the following number, 845-443-0416. I will repeat the number again, but be aware that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. The number again to text is 845-443-0416. As the organizer for today's meeting, I reserve the right to lock and pause the meeting to eject anyone who has behaved inappropriately or to enter into attorney-client conference if needed. On behalf of the commissions, I wish to thank everyone for your continued patience during this unique time and wish you and your family good health. I will now call the meeting to order at 6:36 and turn the floor over to Chairman Hayes Clement to begin the meeting.
Thank you, Sue. And thank you, everybody, for your attendance tonight. I am calling to order the November 4th, 2020 meeting of the City of Kingston Heritage Area Commission. We have a quorum. That would be at least 5 members of the 8 on our commission. And I would like to introduce 2 new Heritage Area Commissioners, Nettie Morano. Nettie, if you could raise your hand. Nice to meet you. Her Zoom thing says Antoinette's iPad, but that's Nettie. And Janet Mayer. Janet, if you would raise your hand. Thank you. We welcome you to the commission. We look forward to working with you, and please don't hesitate if you have any questions about what we're doing or need some explanation. Stop me and we'll get into that with you. I'm now going to just call attendance for us. I'm Hayes Clement. I'm present. Bonnie Howland, who's our vice chairman.
Present.
Dean Barnes.
Present.
Michael Del Priore. Absent. Kevin McAvoy.
Present.
Abigail Robin. I'll note her as absent. Nettie Morano.
Present.
And Janet Mayer. Janet, can you unmute and say present?
Present.
And sorry, I meant, is it Janet or Jan?
Both.
Okay. We'll go by the more formal Janet this tonight.
Okay.
First order of business for Heritage Area Commissioners is the adoption of our minutes of our October 7th, 2021 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review those? Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of October 7th, 2021?
Motion by Bonnie Howland.
Motion by Bonnie Howland. Is that a second, Dean?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion of this? Any amendments? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor of approving the minutes of 2021, I'll call the roll. Hayes Clement, I vote aye. Dean Barnes?
Aye.
Nettie Morano?
Aye.
Bonnie Howland?
Aye.
Janet Mayer?
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you. Sue, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, so next I'm going to introduce Mark Grumblatt, who is the chairperson for the Historic Landmark Preservation Commission. And Mark, I'll let you introduce your members. You also have another new member.
Hi, I'm Mark Grunblatt, Chair of Historic Landmark Preservation Commission, and Nettie Morano has also been appointed to our commission. So hello.
Hello.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Would you like to describe your background a little for the rest of the commission and for the public?
Sure. Quickly, I moved to Kingston in July after spending most of my life in Denver, Colorado, where I had a career as a paralegal, and I retired July 1st and was here by July 21st. And in that time period, sold my house and got in a car, and here I am. Why Kingston, you say? I first wandered into Kingston about 10 years ago, and after many visits, decided this was the place for me to retire. Completely different from Denver. It rains here. There's no traffic. You guys might think you have traffic. There's no traffic. It's just a completely different environment, and I'm really enjoying it.
Well, welcome and thank you for volunteering for this service. I hope, again, to echo Hayes, if you have questions about procedures or what's going on, feel free, raise your hand, speak up, let us know. Has everybody had a chance to review our minutes? I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Andrea Pute, so moved.
Thank you, Andrea. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Thank you, Kevin. All right. Any discussion on the transcript or the minutes? No? All right. I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Yeah, I'm recusing myself. I was not here last month.
All right. Thank you. Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. All right. I'll ask, let's see. I believe we have a full slate here tonight. Hooray. And I will, Hayes, do you want to tackle each of our joint applications first tonight, or would you rather I go ahead?
Why don't you go ahead, since it's a little more involved, and then if we as Heritage Area members have additional questions, we can discuss afterward.
All right. First application up would be 53 North Front Street. Is someone here on that?
Yes, I'm here. Paul Bikert from Timely Signs.
Hi, Paul. If you would briefly describe the project.
Sure. This is a new business owner who is a Hudson Valley native, Paul Rakov. He's starting a new business. They make handmade candles, and he's doing a storefront at this location, right on North Front Street and right in the Uptown District. This is a standard kind of Pike Plan application with a sign that faces the street parallel to it. And then under the canopy, there is a hanging sign that basically matches the height, look, feel as everything else on the street. And then the only other item that we're proposing is a small logo on the entry glass, which I think is the third page. Yeah. With website and phone. That's pretty much it. It's fairly straightforward.
All right. Thank you. Does any member of Historic Landmark Preservation Commission have questions for the applicant?
Mark, this is Sue. The owner is also looking to, if you look at this picture that you have up that's being shared, to repaint the storefront facades to a Benjamin Moore Chelsea gray color, which you see right there. It's obviously in need of some scraping and updating. It's pretty rough.
So it's going to be a monochrome on all the wood features and
Correct.
Right up till the underside of the Pike Plan itself.
Yeah, the Pike Plan will not be touched, obviously.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Do commissioners have any questions regarding that part of the proposal? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Yes, Hayes?
Yes.
So moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. All right. And so I move that the commissioners present find as fact that the proposed signage and exterior painting at 53 North Front Street in the Stockade Historic District by the owners 53-55 North Front Street LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. Exterior paint will be Benjamin Moore Chelsea Gray, HC 186. The two signs will be installed under the Pike Plan canopy. One will be a single-sided sign facing the street and the other will be hung under the canopy. The street-facing sign will be a painted panel with vinyl graphics measuring 74 inches by 30 inches for a total of 15.4 square feet. The distance between the ground and the bottom edge of that sign will be 106 inches. The second sign to be installed under the canopy will be a double-sided painted panel with vinyl graphics measuring 50 by 35 for a total of 12.1 square feet. The distance between the ground and the bottom of that sign will be greater than 96 inches. Both signs will be orange with white lettering indicating business name Hill Valley Candles. Both signs will be mounted with sign clips and quick links, which will be painted white. White vinyl signage will also be added to the glass doorway. This work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, but will not detract from the character of the historic district. I remind the applicant that any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application would be subject to further review by our commission prior to that work being carried out. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston, Building Safety Division, or any other required approvals from the relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on the 4th day of November, 2021, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in our foregoing motion, and that the applicant obtained and submit insurance naming the city as an additional insured with respect to the signage as required by section 3058-9 regarding projections and obstructions of our city code. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Robert. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Thank you. I also vote in the affirmative. Okay, Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you all very much.
Hayes, do you want to do the heritage determination?
Yeah. So do members of the Heritage Commission have any more questions of the applicant? Any comments? Do I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commission member to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Dean Barnes, do I hear a second?
Bonnie Howland, second.
Thank you. Any debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Janet Mayer,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Do I hear a motion to give a positive recommendation on the signage and exterior painting proposal for 53 North Front Street?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Dean
Kevin.
Barnes moved it. Kevin McAvoy second. That motion's now on the floor. Any further debate about this? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Janet Mayer.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Back to you, Mark.
All right, thank you, Hayes. Next up is 139-141 Broadway. Do we have someone for the applicant on that?
Yes, good evening. Thanks for everybody for meeting with us.
Thank you, Mr. Van Scoy. Can you describe your plans for the commission?
Yes, sir. We are doing a wall repair from the architect drawing.
Right.
Several of the members will recall that we've had this project before us before, but it was not utilizing the existing stone. It was proposed to be a manufactured stone. Mr. Van Scoy went back, hired an architect, and is now proposing to reuse the existing stone on the wall reconstruction to repair.
As requested, definitely.
Right, correct, yes. Just one additional note, we have sent this for review also to our city engineer. And he did review it and approved it with one recommendation, just noting that the wall is the property of the will become the property of the property owner and the responsibility going forward as well. Just a
Right.
clarification.
One question occurred to me was drainage was a real issue for you guys first time around. Are you satisfied with the drainage design as proposed?
I did specifically ask the city engineer to address, to look at that, and he is satisfied.
Thank you. Are there any questions from other members of the Historic Landmark Preservation Commission regarding this proposal? With the plan up, I can't see everybody. So
Mark,
thank
Andrea
you.
Pugh,
Thank you, Andrea.
yeah, just wanted to say thank you for going back and taking a look at this and having some professional feedback on it. And I think it looks good.
I would say the same thing. Thank you for making every effort to preserve the original stone and reconstruct that.
Yeah, I'll add to that as well. Thank you very much. Yes.
All right. I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Thank you, Hayes. Do I have a second? Thank you, Andrea. You're going to need to unmute on that.
Andrea Pugh, second.
Thank you. All right. I will call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you. And I move that the commissioners present that find as fact that the proposed reconstruction of the retaining wall at 139-141 Broadway in the Rondout Historic District by owners Rebecca and Richard Van Scoik and Ronald Deers, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The retaining wall will be repaired using existing stone per plans drawn by Ciro Interrante, entitled Details and Notes, Proposed Stone Wall Repair, dated July 18, 2021. This work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property and therefore will not detract from the character of the historic district. Any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. This commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 4th day of November 2021, the Commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to our Commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion, and that the applicant obtain and submit appropriate insurance, naming the city as an additional insured if necessary with respect to the construction activity as per section 358-9, projections and obstructions of our city code. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Robert. I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. All right, Hayes.
All right. Do any members of the Heritage Area Commission have further questions of the applicant? Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Barnes to move.
Barnes moving it. Do I hear a second?
Second by Bonnie Howland.
Second by Bonnie Howland. That's on the floor. Any debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for that vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Nettie Morano,
Aye.
Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Janet Mayer,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to issue a positive recommendation for the wall replacement at 139-141 Broadway as proposed?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
Second by Kevin. Motion by Dean, second by Kevin. That's on the floor. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Betty Morano,
Aye.
Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Janet Mayer,
Aye.
and Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you. Back to you, Mark.
Sue, I do have a few questions when
Yes.
voting is over.
It is. Feel free.
Yes. Okay. Few questions. We met last June 12th, 2020. Since then, I have received a few fines
I'm sorry you've frozen.
You're freezing.
from the city and from the. Sorry, I will repeat it. Since June 12th, 2020, when I was denied to do construction, I have received a few fines from the city of Kingston and the fire department. The fines total $1,500.
And Skoik, if I can just interrupt for a second, this commission has no authority at all with regard to the fines. You need to either contact my office or the building department or the fire department with regard to those levies. And they certainly can be addressed outside the context of a public hearing or a public meeting.
Okay,
But
so
this
I
board has
can,
nothing to do with that.
so I can talk to you in the future about that.
Absolutely, you can contact my office, whether it's me personally or someone else. That's the proper way to address it.
Okay, thank you for helping.
Anything
you.
else?
That it? Is that it, Richard? Oh,
I have no further questions.
okay. All right, then you're done with us. You'll get your decision documents in probably beginning of the next week.
Yes, thank you all so much.
Okay.
Take care.
And thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. 295 Wall Street is next on our agenda.
Present.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Hi. If you would introduce yourself for the record and also describe your project for the commission.
Sure. My name is Jason Profit. I am speaking on behalf of Cacao Lab LLC, which is at 295 Wall Street. I'm a partner in the company. This application would have been filed by Eric Friedman, who is the owner of the company. We are looking to finally install a wood sign for the business. I think there's been a couple of draft proposals for this that have been sent through you guys in the past, but we've redone this a few times. Thank you for sharing, and thanks everybody for listening. Up on the screen here, you can see the proposed sign. This is pretty much it. It's a big wood sign. It's about 6 feet by 2 feet, 2 inches deep, and we will be fastening it to the skeleton of the building. So it will be properly fastened, and it should look something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done. If somebody has.
All right. Thank you, Jason, for that. Do members of the Historic Landmark Preservation Commission have any questions for Mr. Profit on this application? I'm not seeing any. All right, then I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Ooh, this is tight. I'm going to give it to Robert.
Okay.
Thank you.
Second.
A second from Kevin. All right. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Andrea Putz,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Hayes,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Nettie.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. All right. And I move that the commissioners present find as fact that the proposed sign at 295 Wall Street in the Stockade Historic District by applicant Eric Frederico Friedman, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The signage will be live edge wood with Cacao Laboratory printed on the sign. It will measure 6 feet by 2 feet and be secured to an internal beam on the other side of the wall with a French cleat and safety bolt for reinforcement. This work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, but will not detract from the character of the historic district. Any changes or additions to the plans or the work specifically described outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to such work being carried out. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on the 4th day of November 2021, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Robert. Any further discussion on this sign? Seeing none, I will call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
Thank you. I also vote in the affirmative. Hayes?
All right. Any Heritage Area Commissioners with questions for Jason?
No, signage looks very nice.
Thank
Dean,
you.
you have a question?
No. No.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act?
Motion?
Motion by Kevin. Do I hear a second?
You. Second by Bonnie.
Second by Bonnie. Thank you. On that, declaring it a type 2 action under seeker. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Nettie Morano,
Aye.
Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Janet Mayer,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Do I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commissioner to make a positive recommendation for the new signage installation at 295 Wall Street as presented?
Dean Barnes to move.
Thank you, Dean Barnes. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Seconds.
By Kevin McAvoy. That duly made motion is on the floor. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Nettie Morano,
Aye.
Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Janet Mayer,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much for your consideration, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Back to you, Mark.
Don't know where Mark went. Mark stepped away for a moment.
All right. So next on the agenda will be 24 John Street. Do we have anyone here on that application?
Hi, sorry, I had my mute on. This is Mark Miller.
Hi, Mark. You're on for 24, John?
No,
Scott.
I am.
Mark, I think you're later on the agenda for me. I've got you down as number 7 at 50 Broadway.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, we'll get to you as quick as we can.
Okay.
All right, Scott, thank you.
Yep. It's the last piece of the Kinsley Hotel puzzle. Project's been before the board a couple of times, and as it finishes up and gets ready for a certificate of occupancy, the applicant has identified an opportunity to kind of clean up the northwest corner of the property and is requesting approval, consideration by both boards to install a fence. If you click through, you'll start to see that there's a small alleyway between 24 John and the adjacent property, and the adjacent property leaves something to be desired in terms of its presentation. So we're thinking a very simple 4-foot-high fence, creating a small courtyard there, kind of clean all of that up and enhance the streetscape. The fence detailing would match the same details that we've deployed at the other locations for the Kinsley, at 41 Pearl specifically, and would be painted Faro and Ball. The color is 2001, also known as strong white, which is the color of the main building. So just kind of disappear and tie in the main facade. That there is a 6-foot-high fence elsewhere, but we're proposing a 4-foot-high fence.
And where's the property bound there?
If you scroll through to the site plan, you'll see that we're proposing to put it on the property line. Wait, one more. Right there.
Okay, and I see and the gate will open up onto the sidewalk.
Correct. And you'll note that there is this very narrow alleyway that provides access for Central Hudson for reading the meters, but it's also been an opportunity for people to dump things in there, and it's just become an unseemly experience, and obviously not something that we want for the Kinsley Hotel guests to have to confront.
Do members of Historic Landmark Preservation Commission have any additional questions for our applicant? Again, I'm sorry, I can't see everybody. All right, now I can see everybody. Any questions?
Mark, just a quick statement. This is Andrea Puce. I have to recuse myself from this project.
Thank you for letting us know.
Thank you, Andrea.
All right, any other questions or comments from Historic Landmarks? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under State Environmental Quality Review. Do I hear such a motion? Thank you, Hayes, for the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin.
Ooh, I'll give this one to Kevin.
Sorry.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Robert?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I will note Andrea's recusal. Nettie?
Aye.
Thank you. I also vote in the affirmative. I move that the commissioners present find as fact that the proposed fence at 24 John Street in the Stockade Historic District by applicant Charles Blakeman, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The fence will be 4 feet tall, of eastern white cedar, tongue and groove, with a solid topper. The fence will be painted Faro and Ball color 2001, strong white, to match the building. The work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, but will not detract from the character of the historic district. Any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to such work being carried out. The commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 4th day of November 2021, that our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to our commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Hayes Clement, second.
Thank you, Hayes. Any further discussion on my motion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Robert?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I'll note Andrea's recusal, and I vote in the affirmative.
Okay, do any members of the Heritage Area Commission have questions, further questions of the applicant? Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Dean Barnes, so moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin McAvoy. Any debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes?
Aye.
Nettie Morano?
Aye.
Bonnie Howland?
Aye.
Janet Mayer?
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy?
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to issue a positive recommendation on the fence installation at 24 John Street as proposed?
By Bonnie Howland.
Motion by Bonnie Howland. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin McAvoy. That duly made motion is on the floor. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes?
Aye.
Nettie Morano?
Aye.
Bonnie Howland?
Aye.
Janet Mayer?
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy?
Aye.
Thank you. The ayes have it. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, 9-17 and 21 North Front Street and Fair Street Extension. Do we have an representative of the applicant on that proposal? Hi, Scott.
Mike should be on any second.
All right, we'll wait for him. Anyone?
Andrea Pete speaking. Also, just letting you know, I have to recuse myself on this too.
Thank you.
Andrea, just want to state the reason for your recusal for the record, please.
Sure. My working relationship under Scott Dutton for the client.
Thank you.
If it's Dan Gartenstein, if we can just clarify, Andrea, when this was last in front of the commission, I believe you participated, but Scott at that point was not involved in the project, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you. I just want to make that clear for the record.
So Mike's clients must have arrived, and as per his earlier instructions, we're here to listen. So no need to wait any further.
All right. I think especially for Nettie's benefit, this is a different scale of application than the other ones we've had tonight. It's already been declared a type 1 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. So we're not going to make a separate recommendation yet tonight, because at this point, I would like to remind the applicant that, let's see, I believe it's September 6th of 2019, we submitted a formal letter to the Planning Board, which is the lead agency under the State Environmental Quality Review Act for the entire project. At that time, we raised 4 general areas of concern. I don't know if we should, Scott, I should just check in and make sure you're aware of that letter. Do you need me to review our comments from that time?
Dan?
You can,
Yeah, Mark, just to clarify the record, I believe it's appropriate to go through the HLPC's previous comments and just clarify the issues that we're going to be addressing going forward. Also to clarify that at this juncture, this board is charged with addressing the request for the preservation notice of action, also charged with addressing the request for, or the anticipated request for a demolition permit, and just outlining basically what issues you're going to be addressing at subsequent meetings, and notifying the applicant with regard to what information you want submitted to address those concerns.
All right. To back up what our attorney has just outlined for you, I'm going to call your attention to that letter, and I'll summarize that for you here, just for our public record and for you to review as we move forward. First, there was a question regarding your understanding of the boundaries of the historic district, and do they cover the full site all the way down to Schwank Drive? We've seen more than one map from proponents of the project, which would, some seem to go all the way to Schwank Drive, some seem to split the block. We need you to finalize that, and we're concerned as to what you believe the actual bounds are, and that's going to be something that we need to address with some specificity. Our second general area of concern was archaeological in nature. At that time, your architect had indicated a willingness to require that excavations be observed and recorded to preserve any artifacts or past history of the sites involved. You're at the edge of the stockade. It's a relatively steep slope. We need to be assured that any artifacts that are uncovered during the excavation that you described are preserved and properly handled. And so we would be asking that it be documented upon excavation by a certified archaeological professional. The third area of our concern was visual. We raised concerns regarding the visual impacts within the historic area and the other adjacent lands surrounding the development site, and these need to be evaluated with careful consideration to the impact on the Stockade Historic District. And lastly, there was concern regarding damage to neighboring properties once construction or demolition has begun. What precautions will be undertaken to preserve nearby structures, and what sort of preliminary survey or engineering information have you got to reassure us that some of the colonial era and other buildings nearby will not suffer any adverse effects from the construction process itself.
Okay, and
So
Mark, if I can just jump in to clarify, those were the concerns that were expressed by this board a number of years back during the context of the seeker review. Some of those issues have been fully resolved by the seeker determination. And I assume that Mike in his submissions and the applicant in their submissions in December will differentiate between the issues that you just outlined that are covered by seeker and those that are not. But the outline of the concerns that you raised, particularly about the visual impact, is certainly relevant to the preservation notice of action that you are going to be addressing and deliberating about in the coming months. But some of those issues are subsumed in the seeker determination.
Right, but I'd like to remind Scott, we haven't seen everything that has happened at the planning board. So Dan is absolutely correct. It will be on you to lay forth what you're proposing now that's different from what we saw back in 2019.
Mark, this is Mike. Can you hear me? Moriello.
Yep, I can hear you. Thank you.
Question on archaeological. Do you want to see the studies again, or do you want to see anything in particular on the archaeological?
I don't think we had the studies at the time. I'd appreciate being able to have someone present that to the board. But the concern remains the same. Will there be someone on site? How are any discoveries to be handled?
Yeah, I'll talk to Joe Diamond about that and get an explanation, because he does have a detailed program for anything that's discovered on the site. If it's of significance, the work will stop. But I'll put all that together with him. No problem.
Great. That Joe has worked several projects here in Kingston. That's good to hear. Thank you, Mike. All right, Hayes.
I just have a somewhat general question for Scott. Does your new involvement in this project mean that the plans and the elevations we saw a couple of years ago are being significantly revised, or is it something else?
Well, we have been working to refine the plans and elevations. I don't know how to characterize them, and I suppose we should hold judgment on that. We're not making dramatic changes. We're trying to make refinements and improvements to the visual, the facade, and take it to another level. Brad, just to give you the board a bit of history, the developers had asked us to be involved at the Genesis, but as many of you know, I had just taken on the Fuller Building project, which was a massive undertaking for us, and I knew that I couldn't make a contribution at that time. We've since filled the Fuller Building and finished it and have a C of O, and the developers asked us to participate, and we're happy to. And I think that the board will be pleased with some of the refinements that we'll present at the next meeting.
So the expectation would be that any changes in materials or fenestration will be, a refinement or an improvement. It's not cutting the budget. Okay.
Right. There are no wholesale dramatic moves there.
Hayes, this is Mike Hayes. Going into what Dan had said about the different seeker and site plan. Some of the case law in New York State is that like visual is endemic to site plan too. So you can you can complete seeker, but still continue on with visual impacts and visual analysis of looking at the building. So I think that it was a good point that Dan made, that will be looked at once we get things to you. So
Sounds good. Thanks.
Are there other questions from Historic Landmark Commission members for our applicants? All right. I think procedurally, we're not planning on, and we don't have everything in front of us yet. We'll be looking for you to make a presentation to our board in the coming months. I don't know if you're planning to be here next month. Is that your intent?
Mark, if I can just jump in for 1 second, just to clarify something about process, and I alluded to it earlier. Our code 405-49 also requires that any application for a building permit for demolition requires that the Building Safety Division notify this board, and this board has to report on the request for the demolition of the historic building. So part of your review going forward needs to focus on that aspect of the plan. So I would just ask that the applicant's attorney, and I assume it will be Dennis, prepare information to present to this board with regard to the necessity, or your client's position on the necessity of demolishing the building.
And I would also add that regarding demolition, we will be also asking questions about about what you have found in the building being recorded if the demolition is to press forward. Some in historic preservation, you may find surprises as you move forward in this project. You're right, Dennis, you're probably the point person here as the engineer on the project. So not only the question that Dan raised, but also what kind of documentation you intend to provide regarding its construction and whatever you discover of its history. So thank you for that, Dan. And any further questions? Has a demolition permit been requested as of yet? I've not heard of that, though.
no, there has been no request, Mark, for a demolition permit.
Okay, so you guys would be in charge of presenting that on the timing that fits what you are looking for in the project. But Dan's absolutely right. That's part of what we need to do. Hayes?
Any members of the Heritage Area Commission have any questions around this? Thank you.
All right. Do members of on the proposal, do you guys have any questions for our commission?
Mark, this is Mike again. I have a question. In terms of the zoning law 405-65 D, my reading is that requires a public hearing. There has been, as the board probably knows, there's been some back and forth with project opponents about the public hearing question. We were hoping to schedule a public hearing at some point. We didn't know if that would be at the December meeting, and I defer to you and to Dan and the board on what you're.
I see you wanting to address that. Go ahead, Sue.
I think that at this time that we should hold off scheduling a public hearing until the materials that Scott and his crew are working on before we schedule the public hearing. I don't think that it would be fair to the general public to not have that available to them to make comment on in December. So it's more likely that a public hearing would be more appropriate at the January meeting.
And I would certainly agree that we're looking at January rather than December, mostly because whatever plans are submitted have to be made to the public and also are going to be presented to this board at the December meeting. The board is going to have an opportunity to ask questions and ask for whatever clarification they want. Hopefully, the record with regard to what the actual proposal or the actual changes would be can be finalized in December, and then we can have a public hearing in January to address and to fulfill the requirements of the zoning code.
That's acceptable. That's acceptable to us. It makes sense. I think we could definitely get things in and get us on the agenda probably for that December meeting. Do you guys know the date of that meeting?
First Thursday.
Hang on.
The third.
December 2nd.
Okay,
December 2nd.
we will plan on being there.
Right. Any other items for the applicant from Historic Landmarks perspective? All right, we look forward to getting a pile more information and some updates from you in December. And thank you for your appearance here tonight.
Mark,
Thank you to the
motion
board.
table, please.
All right. I will entertain a motion to table this application for until our December 2nd meeting. Hayes, was that a motion?
Hayes Clement, so moved.
Thank you, Hayes. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Robert. On the second, I will call the roll. Well, first, any discussion on that? Procedurally, Nettie, we're holding this over until next month. So based on this, the outcome of our vote here, I'll call the roll. Robert?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
Evan?
Aye.
Nettie?
Aye.
I will note Andrea's recusal and I vote in the affirmative. All right, you're tabled until next month. We look forward to hearing from you soon.
Hayes, you want to table the HRC?
Yes. Do
Heritage.
I hear a motion from a Heritage Area Commission member to table this consideration until next month?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
So moved by Dean Barnes. Do I hear a second?
Second by Bonnie Howland.
Second by Bonnie Howland. Thank you. That motion's on the floor. Any debate amongst Heritage Area Commissioners? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Nettie Morano.
Aye.
Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Janet Mayer.
Aye.
And Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We will see you gentlemen next month.
Thank you. Thank you to the board.
Next item of business is an Heritage Area Commission application. Do you want to adjourn first?
Yeah, Mark, do you want to adjourn the HLPC meeting?
I would like to, yeah, we have no involvement on this next application. So I will entertain a motion.
Before we do it, Nettie, you need to stay because we still have a Heritage Area Commission
Okay.
matter.
I'll stay put.
Thanks for that clarification. All right, on behalf of Historic Landmark Preservation Commission, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I hear such a motion?
Hayes Clement.
Andrew Pugh, so moved.
All right, I'm going to give this one to Andrea. Do I hear a second? Hayes wins on the second. Thank you, Hayes. Any discussion?
Yeah, just one quick thing. I just want to remind everybody that the zoning thing is happening as we're sitting here. Hayes and I were both on it for the first half hour, and then we jumped over here. Maybe some other people were also on it, but it's just something you should just be aware of. We're in the charrette week, and there is a preservation meeting next week. Is that Tuesday? Monday? I have to look at the charrette schedule for that, but it is there is a meeting, and I believe that Kevin Corte sent it out to everyone.
Is everyone on our board familiar with what a charrette is? All right, Nettie.
I am. I read that this afternoon. I'm sorry. I did go through all that. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. The HAC members should go to this. The consultants leading the city through this are actually excellent. And I heard some of the best explanations I've ever heard given of some of these terms that got thrown around, like form-based code and whatnot. I'm very excited about it.
All right. And it's a move in a new direction for a very different style of zoning that has, I believe Buffalo is the first in New York to go through this, Sue, am I correct?
I do not know.
Okay. So we're not absolute pioneers, but we're among the first to be considering it. Thank you, Hayes and Kevin, for bringing that up. Back to the motion at hand to adjourn. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I believe we had moved.
Oh, that's right.
A motion from Andrea.
Thank you.
From Hayes.
Andrea, you moved. Hayes, you seconded. We're back to the motion with no further. Is there any further discussion before I call the roll? Seeing none, I will call Robert.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Nettie.
Aye.
Andrea.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. We stand adjourned until December. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, Heritage Area Commission members, the last application before us is an application to enclose an existing rear porch at 50 Broadway. Mark Miller is the applicant and owner of the building. Mark, thank you for your patience. Tell us what you want to do.
Am I on mute or unmuted now? Can you hear me?
Good. We can hear you.
We're going to enclose we were looking to enclose the deck in the back porch, I guess. So to create a waiting area for people coming to the building to separate them from staff and for their own safety.
First off, before we get too far, does everyone understand where 50 Broadway is? It's one of the new buildings built in the 70s or 80s down in the Rondout on the side of the street that had been torn down. Everybody familiar? So the way the buildings are on the sidewalk, but there's a parking lot in the back with porches.
And this would be in the back. Oh, there we are.
Mark, this is Sue. Have you seen the comments from the HOA Board of Directors for that project?
When I spoke to them initially about it, I haven't seen any comments since. They were okay with it.
Okay, they did send some comments to us. I talked to the architect, Charles Wesley, about them. I know he's on vacation this week, and I know he's spoken with them as well. Just quickly, I can go through them. Some of them deal with interior issues, which are not the privy of this commission, but primarily the exterior color of white is not acceptable. A color must be selected by the board that will match the surrounding structures.
It should, I agree.
Okay, the second item was the color of the Anderson windows is not identified on the architectural drawings. A color must be selected by the board that will also match the surrounding structures.
It would match
It's-
exactly what's
It's a
already there.
compatibility question.
exactly.
They had an interior of the structure is identified as gloss white, and then the board required that it be painted as the current structures. That's between you and the HOA. That's not for us to really get involved with. Gutters and leaders are not identified on the architectural drawing, and the design and color to match other existing structures. Stormwater is a concern that we always look at, just the collection, that it be identified and just submitted to us for review and approval.
The gutters and leaders are already there.
Okay. They just spill out onto the lawn area?
It comes down the side of the building and then drains out along the side of the deck on the left. If you're facing the deck, it's on the left side.
Okay. All right. And they won't be changed then? There's no change to that?
No, everything will be the same.
Okay. That was all they had.
Is to make it look like it's been there since the day the building was put up.
Yeah.
Is the porch intended to be temporary, or it'll be there permanently, Mark?
The porch is there already now.
I mean, the enclosure, I mean.
The enclosure will be permanent.
Okay.
Yes.
Sue,
The doors will be the same doors that are on that are on the rear entry. So they'll be identical to that. Everything has got to match perfectly. I want it to look exactly like it looks, like the building looks.
Yep. And the plans, Sue, they jibe with code and standards for that district?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have questions of the applicant? Suggestions, issues? Mark, do you agree on item 1 and 2 as sort of outlined by the HOA on that, the exterior color and the Anderson windows?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
First off, do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act?
Dean Barnes, the move.
Motion by Dean. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Second by Kevin McAvoy. That motion's on the floor. Any debate around that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Nettie Morano.
Aye.
Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Janet Mayer.
Aye.
And Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Second, do I hear a motion to approve the porch enclosure at 50 Broadway as presented, with the understanding that item 1 about exterior color and item 2 about the color of the Anderson windows be adjusted as per the recommendations or requirements of the homeowners association?
Motion by Bonnie Howland.
Motion by Bonnie. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Second by Kevin McAvoy. That's a duly made motion on the floor. Any debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Nettie Morano.
Aye.
Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Janet Mayer.
Aye.
And Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Anything else a commissioner wants to bring up?
Just welcome to Jan and Nettie.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we didn't give you a chance to kind of introduce yourself at the beginning. Would you like to just introduce yourself a little bit to the rest of the members?
Sure. I'm a lifelong area resident of Kingston, and I enjoy the city and I love the history of it. And that's what made me want to volunteer for this position.
Thank you for doing that. We look forward to working with both of you. If you have any questions about how the process works or anything that was confusing, don't hesitate to call Sue or Kyla or me if you want also. Anything else, Sue?
No, just motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Motion by Kevin. Do I hear a second?
Come on, Jen and Eddie. This is your turn.
Second.
There you go.
Second by Eddie Morano. Any debate on this? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Eddie Morano,
Aye.
Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Janet Mayer,
Aye.
and Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
The ayes have it. We are adjourned. We will see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you,
night.
everyone.
Bye,
Have a
thank
nice
you.
Thanksgiving.
Aye.
Oh, you too.
Yeah.